guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So as you may know, I actually ended up selling the Evo. Now there's no particular reason why I sold the Evo, but now that I think about it, it reminds me of when I bought my first car. So like most teenagers, once I got my license, I really wanted a car. And I was ready to just settle with a cheap car that would get me from point A to point B, and that would be the end of it. But that all changed when my brother actually rolled up in a 2007 Honda Civic Si. And all of a sudden, that cheap car wouldn't cut it anymore. So I spent most of my days looking for a car, and I honestly couldn't find the perfect one. And eventually, I got so sick and tired of looking for a car that I just gave up. And I got a phone call one day from a person selling a car that they were in town, and the person that was going to buy it flaked on them. And I actually ended up buying that car on that day. And I'm really fortunate in the sense that my friends are really knowledgeable on cars, and they were able to help me through everything from maintenance to modifying the car. Now as time went on, I started noticing all these imperfections and flaws about the car. I mean, there were rock chips, and the paint looks like it had whiteout over it, and all that kind of stuff. But I soon learned to just be content with what I have, because all cars are going to have imperfections on them. So I loved my first car. It had everything I ever wanted. It was white, it had a 6-speed manual, and what more could you ask for in a first car? And I actually had no intentions of selling it, but what actually ended up happening was I got in an accident, and after fixing it up, it was time to let it go. So after that brings me to my second car, which is a 2003 BMW M3. And when I bought this car, I knew I wasn't going to keep it because it wasn't a manual. It was actually an SMG, which stands for sequential manual gearbox. And that is basically like a car that is manual but with an automated clutch. So I had that car, I drove it, it was a heck of a lot of fun, and I would probably want one in the future again. But eventually I had to sell it, and at this point I'm like, you know what, I just need to get a car that I'm going to keep forever because I'm tired of buying and selling, and just settle with something. And finally I stumbled upon the Evo, and when I bought it, I felt like I bought my first car again. Now, this was essentially everything I could ever ask for. I mean, it's all-wheel drive, it's good all year round, especially in the winter. It's manual, and it's a turbo, and I still remember the first day that I bought it, and I couldn't get any sleep that night. So why did I sell it? Well, I think it all started when I was prepping for Worlds. As I was prepping for Worlds, I wasn't really driving it as much anymore. I mean, I'd wake up, and if my car was boxed in, I'd take whatever car out there, whether it was a minivan or the Evo. I didn't really care, quite frankly. And I guess I wasn't actually too comfortable driving a vehicle that costed that much money on a day-to-day basis. And ultimately, I guess another reason is, now that I'm graduating, I have no clue what I'm going to do after. So if I do have to move for school or invest in some things, I will have the funds to do that. But in all honesty, I really do miss the car, and sometimes I wish I never actually sold it. And I think a part of that is because when I sold my other cars, I wanted something else. But when I sold the Evo, I actually had no intentions of upgrading or getting something better. And in fact, I actually wasn't very motivated to sell the car at all. My ad was up for several months, and I haven't even updated it. And I guess someone just came to look at it and wanted to buy it. And the funny thing is, the day that I sold it is actually 1 year from the day that I purchased it. So what am I driving now? Well, actually nothing. I've just been using the vehicles at home whenever they're not in use. I mean, I probably will buy another car, but I honestly have no clue what I'm going to get. And don't get me wrong, just because I don't have a car doesn't mean I'm not into cars anymore. I mean, I still went out to meet... Oh wow. Old car. Because ultimately it's the community that keeps driving me back.
I would like to, but it's just finding the time.
Wow.
Subarus here. Yeah,
so anyways, that's pretty much it. Sold the Evo, and that's pretty much where I'm at right now. Another thing I wanted to mention is that if you notice this shirt here, one of my friends is doing a fundraiser, and he always does this fundraiser for colitis. And what he does is he donates a certain amount of money depending on his total. So since Power Surge is coming up on November 12th and it's going to take place at the University of Alberta, I am going to donate based off of my total at Power Surge. So if you guys are able to support him, you can check out the link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.